Hi there, everyone. My name's Chai House. I'm the Client Relationship Manager at Reflex Marine, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today on our first webinar for our personnel crane transfer device, the FROG-6. First off, I have some housekeeping rules for you on today's webinar. It's scheduled to last for around 1 hour, and there'll be a Q&A question and answer session at the end. All attendees are automatically muted to allow speakers to present without interruption. Questions can be submitted via the chat box on the right at any time throughout the webinar, and we will address these at the end during the Q&A session. You can minimize the view of the speaker's cameras by clicking the little minus button above the presentation screen. The presentation recording will also be sent out to you 24 hours after the session. We will begin with a short introduction to Reflex Marine as a company and our experience in the sector of personnel transfer carriers. I'm then going to hand over to my colleagues joining us today. This is Sandra Antonovic, Reflex Marine's Chief Operating Officer, and Mr. Victor Suarez, our Senior Trainer. Sandra is going to walk us through some of the benefits and applications for the FROG-6 in different operational scenarios. Victor will then be looking to answer any questions about technical features of the FROG-6 and implementing it into your operational procedures. Okay then, as I'm not seeing any remarks or questions in the chat right now, I think we're ready to get started with a brief introduction to Reflex Marine. With over 25 years experience, Reflex Marine specializes in personnel crane access and is now widely recognized as the leading manufacturer in safe personnel crane transfer equipment. Our products are used in over 75 countries, and there is now 1,200 of our devices in operation globally, with an estimated 1 million safe transfers carried out each year using our equipment. You may be familiar with our range of carriers from Reflex Marine called the FROG. The original FROG capsule was developed over 25 years ago and has helped steer the conversations and change attitudes in the offshore industries globally. In 2014, we then developed the improved range of carriers, which is now known as the FROG-XT, available in capacity for 4, 6, and 10 passengers. FROG-XT carriers are now widely regarded as some of the safest devices in the world for offshore crew transfer. We have an unprecedented safety record of no fatalities and 0 lost time incidents with our equipment. A few years ago, we designed our first carrier for standing passengers, the Wave 4. And finally, 2 years ago, we introduced our first design of a work basket called Stormwork. The exceptional design and engineering of our products has brought us multiple awards and recognition globally, including most recently the LEA Safety Award for the Stormwork work basket. We are not only a manufacturer of offshore personnel access equipment, we are the only manufacturer of offshore personnel access equipment which thoroughly tests and documents the process. You can see all of our testing videos for our products on our YouTube channel. Right, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Sandra and Victor, who will be running you through the FROG-6 Mexico presentation. Sandra, over to you. Is your microphone on?
Hello, Charlie.
Hi, Sandra. Sorry, I couldn't hear you then. I think your microphone was muted.
I think there was a bad, sort of a patch of a bad connection.
Okay, no problem. We've got you now.
Yes, okay, great. Thank you. I was just thanking everybody for joining and for taking the time to sit through this webinar. So I'll get going. Hopefully I won't have any more bad patches of connection. This webinar is going to focus on FROG-6. I'll explain in a bit from which generation of products FROG-6 comes. Charlie did mention that we are going to share the materials with you after the webinar. So tomorrow you should receive the recording and then the user manual and anything else that will be shared. We will also have the webinar sessions available on our YouTube channel, probably from late November, and you will be able to watch them on demand for free at your leisure. So we are trying to set this up so that we can share all because we are going to have a series of webinars covering different topics. This one is specifically focused on FROG-6, personal transfer carrier. Here you can see FROG-6 in action. This is probably offshore Brazil, being used to transfer crew between two vessels. Reflex Marine in a snapshot. I've noticed that quite a few people who joined are our long-standing clients. Thank you very much for your support and for joining the session. We also have some of our partners here. I'm very glad to have you on this webinar. We do have a few people that might be unfamiliar with us, so I'll quickly run through, just give you a brief snapshot of who we are. So we are a company founded back in '92 in UK, in Scotland. We have 30 years of experience in designing and manufacturing offshore safety equipment. We have quite niche product portfolio. We don't have many products, but the ones that we do offer, we completely design and develop them in-house. We have extraordinary group of designers and engineers working on each product, and there is more than 10,000 hours behind the development of each of our personnel transfer carriers. We are the only option for transferring people offshore that has a safety track record of 10 years without a lost time incident. And we support any and all offshore industries. So we are not, while predominantly we do support the oil and gas industry, our carriers are used across the board on oceans and seas. So anybody who needs to transfer people from point A to point B, we can help with that. Currently, we have over 1 million transfers being done each year using our carriers in over 70 countries in the world on all continents. And we're very happy to be supporting our clients all over the world. I mentioned briefly, I'm just going quickly to elaborate a little bit on this. I think it's an important point. We are personnel transfer experts. We do all the design and engineering of all our carriers in-house. We have a research development and training center in Barcelona. Victor is based there, so he's involved in development process, but also he's our chief trainer and he's a part of our operation support team. So that the Barcelona office is and facilities is quite an important piece of the puzzle for us. We test all our prototypes for all our products following MIRA recommendations, which in short would mean that we follow the methodology and the recommendations and the procedures that are used when a car is being tested for safety. We have quality controlled manufacturing in one single location in Scotland, and we are offering training and commissioning support and operational support throughout the entire lifespan of the product. As the original equipment manufacturer, we also offer replacement parts and servicing, whether directly or through our network of authorized service partners with trained and certified people who are able to service your units. Victor will now run us through some of the main points from the user manual, which we thought would be important to highlight during the webinar. The user manual will be shared with you after the webinar, so you will get an electronic copy of it. You can also get the user manual for free. You can download it from our website, www.reflexmarine.com, and of course it comes with every unit that you purchase or rent. You would receive a user manual. I'm just going to quickly run through the product safety features. Most of you are familiar with them already. So protected seating position, fall protection, vertical impact protection, lateral impact protection, and flotation. Here on the left-hand side, you can see a frog being lifted from a vessel. So you can see frog in action. The user manual, before I hand over to Victor, I'll just quickly give you the overview of what you can find in there. Besides the basic data sheet and sort of running through the product spec, so the dimensions, weight, height, and so on, and the main features. It also provides best practices and recommendations on commissioning, so how to start using the product, how to use it in different scenarios, how to convert it to medevac mode if you need to use it in that operational scenario. And then it also has a section on inspection and maintenance, together with inspection and maintenance recommended schedule. It then goes and gives you an idea and the list of replacement parts you might need during the lifespan of the product. And finally, it has samples of visual inspection and service report. I'll hand over to Victor now, and the next couple of slides, he will run us through some more technical bits that you can find in the user manual. Victor, over to you.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Sandra. Hello, everyone. I will guide you through, as Sandra was mentioning, I will guide you through product specifications, especially the ones that I think will be quite remarkable for us. As mentioned before, you can always consult all the product specifications in the user manual. What I think it is important, or very important, from the product specifications, or what I think you should bear in mind, will be the maximum gross weight of the unit, which is 1,200 kilos. The tail weight of the unit, that is 630 kilos, and the safe working load of the unit, that is 570 kilos. This is an important information in terms of, first of all, not overload the unit during the operations, being aware of the weight that the unit can, the safe working load that the unit can be operated. And I think it is very important also to understand, or to be aware about the dimensions of the unit in terms of preparing the landing area, or a safe landing area, not only on the installations, but also and especially on the vessels. We should prepare that, or create a landing area that is free of tripping hazards, and a landing area that will provide a clear and safe operating area for the people that will be, or for the staff that will be involved in the crane transfer operations, not only passengers, but also the deck crew or the installation staff. As Sandra was covering part of it, I mean, we have been certified our units under the highest standards, national technical standards, that's referring to UK standards, but also the European industry standards as ILO and LOLE, which is very important, especially when referring to equipment that is connected to lifting or related to lifting operations. I think it would be also valuable to highlight the impact behavior of the unit of the FROG-6. So the unit can protect passengers during lateral collisions of 2 meters per second or vertical collisions or heavy landings of 4 meters per second. Other features to highlight would be the full height seating, the quick release harness. We consider that harness are an important element in the units because these harnesses prevent passengers from falling off the carriers. So they offer extra protection to the passengers during the transfer operations. The units can be converted into medical evacuation mode, as Sandra mentioned before. So a stretcher can be assembled on the unit, and the casualty on the stretcher can be accompanied by a medic or another passenger. We use a two-leg lifting assembly or two-bridle leg lifting assembly with a primary leg and a secondary leg, or let's call it also a main leg and a backup leg. So in case of failure of the main leg, we still have a second leg or a backup leg that will just keep the carrier connected to the hook of the crane. I would like you to take a look at these recommended sea states, and especially I will not cover the whole sea states and the different scenarios, but what I would like to compare the first one, or the one that refers to operations being performed between a fixed platform to a vessel. This is transfer from a fixed platform to a vessel. As you can see, the maximum wave height can be, or the significant wave height where operations can be conducted would be up to 4 meters. If we assess this recommended sea states, of course, we see that we have the green area in which operations can be conducted with a low risk. Of course, these operations will be conducted with when a prior risk assessment has been carried out, and the important or the remarkable elements, or not only the sea state but also the wind speed, the significant wave height, of course, the temperature, the time of the day in which we are performing the operations, especially daylight operations or nighttime operations. All this should be assessed prior to conducting a crane transfer operation. But, well, of course, the performance of the unit, let's say according to sea states, as you can see, would be decreasing when we perform, for example, when we compare operations between a fixed platform transfer to a vessel and a vessel-to-vessel transfer. In this case, we can observe that, of course, the capability of the unit decreases. But of course, as I previously said, all operations should be deeply assessed, and a risk assessment should be conducted prior to performing any crane transfer operation. I think that when talking about operating parameters and capability of the unit and the safety features of the unit, it is important to highlight or to mention what are the main risks associated to a crane transfer operation. The main risks are lateral collisions, vertical collisions, or heavy landings. Staff or personnel falling off the carrier, and immersion. So if we address, or in the way we address all these risks, and in the way that our products address all these risks, this is an important part when we when we start designing and manufacturing these products. The main target is to protect passengers from these main risks. So I would like to comment on other operating parameters of the unit. I think it is important also to highlight the capability of the unit to stay to be stable or to on deck with rolls of 10 degrees and pitches of 10 degrees. The unit can be stable up to 35 degrees on deck, so which is great stability, I would say. Of course, it is important the station keeping of the vessels, but what I would also like to remark is the importance of a clear landing area. So we strongly recommend a clear landing area on a vessel of 6.4 by 6.4 meters. And in the installation, we recommend a landing area of 4.25 by 4.25 meters. Of course, these landing areas recommended by Reflex Marine will be increased by 1 meter, 1 meter plus around the unit. This is just for clearance, enough to have enough clearance around the unit so that passengers can enter and passengers can abandon the unit safely and in a fashion way. Prior to performing any crane transfer operation, passengers and all the personnel involved in the operation should be briefed. So it is important that everybody involved in the operation watches the briefing video, including passengers. And it is important the role of the crew in terms of competence and the activity of the crew will be paramount in terms of guaranteeing the safety of passengers not only during the transfer operation, but also when passengers are guided to the units or when passengers are to abandon the units. In terms of inspection and maintenance, we should perform 4 types of inspections. The first type of inspection will be and very regular one will be the pre-use check. You might find in the user manuals also the pre-operational check. It is exactly the same. Pre-use check or pre-operational check is exactly the same. Is the inspection that will be performed prior to the use of the carrier in every shift of work. So this inspection, of course, will be conducted by a competent person, a person that has been already trained for that purpose. And the goal of this inspection mainly is to assess the unit and assure that the unit is ready and safe for use. Visual inspections should be conducted every 6 months. So the FROG-6s should be inspected every 6 months visually. During this visual inspection, the unit will not be dismantled, but it will be assessed deeply in order to find any defects or any signs of damages that in some way could compromise the safety and the integrity of the unit. Examinations will be conducted every year. Once a year, an examination will be performed. This is the type of inspection in which the unit will be dismantled and the critical components will be assessed in a deeper way. This is the type of inspection that will also give way to the replacement of the slings, and I should insist on this. We in Reflex Marine, we are very conservative about the use of the sling, so we recommend the replacement of the sling at least once a year. So even the units that are under or falling into the low usage category, and this is something that we'll see in the further slide, but the units under very low usage, these units should get a sling replacement at least once a year. So the slings should be replaced regardless of the low usage of the units. We will see when we visit the next slide that in case that we have units under a very high usage category, then the replacement of the sling will be more rigorous, and we will be changing or replacing the sling assembly with higher frequency. Final but not less inspection will be the post-load test inspection. This is the type of inspection to be conducted after performing a load test. So this type of inspection is closely related with the previous inspection that we were talking about, the examination. And the reason is that every year or annually when we perform an examination, and during this examination, it is determined not only by the usage of the unit, but also because of the conditions in which we find the critical components. If we have to replace, if the inspector determines that these critical components in the unit should be replaced, then a load test, after replacement of critical components, a load test should be conducted. So once we perform a load test and the load test is completed, a post-load test inspection will be carried out. And this is the type of inspection that will guarantee that the unit did not get damaged or any of its components got damaged during the load test. So having gone through the 4 types of inspections, I would like to go through now the recommended frequency of inspection and maintenance. Let's take as example, or let's use 3 examples. We will depart from the left column where we can find the usage category of the units. The usage category of the units will be given by the number of transfers or the number of lifts performed by the unit per year. So as you can see, for example, in this very low usage category, we have units with less than 20 transfers or 20 lifts per year. As you can see, the visual inspection will be held every 6 months and the examination every 12 months, every year. Post-load test visual inspection after load test, and proof load test should be performed, as mentioned before, on critical parts replacement. Remarkable here, look at the usage of the unit. It's very low and the number of transfers is less than 20, but we are recommending that the sling should be replaced every year. Not the same is happening with the rest of the critical components, that if they are in good conditions, they can be inspected but also reassembled back to the unit, and they can be in the unit up to 36 months, of course, with an examination being performed every year. If we go to the middle of the table and we assess the units under medium usage category, we see that these units are performing between 100 and 500 transfers. So we see also that the behavior of the visual inspections in terms of performing visual inspections, we keep under the same criteria of 6 months visual inspection, 12 months an examination, and the sling replacement will be performed or will be conducted every 12 months, every year. But in this case, as you can see, the critical components will not be replaced every 36 months, but every 24. If, of course, it is obvious that this is directly proportional, the number of transfers with the replacement of critical parts. As you can see, before we had a 36 month replacement for a very low usage category. For the medium, we have a 24. And let's go to the higher usage category. Let's say the ultra high, in this case, is more than 2,500 lifts per year. As you can see, the visual inspection in this case will be performed not every 6 months, but every 3. And then the examination will not be performed every 12 months, but every 6. And if we take a look at the replacement of the sling assembly, as well as the replacement of critical components, there is a variation here. We have a replacement of the sling every 3 months and a replacement of critical parts every 6. This is, I would say that this is the Bible, or the small Bible for inspection and maintenance of the unit. If we have the information on the left column provided by the operators with the number of transfers performed per year, we will suddenly know when the inspections should be performed and when we should replace the slings and critical components. If you have any doubt about this recommended frequency, you have this table available in the user manual, so you will always have the chance to consult it and make sure that inspections and replacement of critical components and slings will be performed in the right moment. I will hand over the session back to my colleague, Sandra. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Victor. I hope this was helpful for everybody. If you have any questions, please do ask them in the chat box, and we'll try to answer them at the end of the webinar. Or alternatively, you can send us an email at info@reflexmarine.com, and we'll provide you with a thorough answer. Just to touch a little bit from the commercial and operational perspective on the inspection and maintenance schedule. So you can see here the unit lifespan depending on the usage. If you need information on how much, what is the approximate cost of ownership of the unit, so how much would it cost you to maintain the unit following recommendations from us as the manufacturer, we can do that calculation for you based on the usage information that you provide us. So if you would like us to do that, please do send us an email, and we'd be happy to help. We do also provide operational support in terms of managing your fleet. So if you would prefer us to manage your fleet of FROG carriers, regardless whether they're in one country or whether they're in different parts of the world, we can do that for you as well. So it's a service we provide. We currently have a couple of operators using that service. So what essentially happens is that we follow the lifespan of your FROG carriers, and we make sure that they are serviced and inspected according to the recommended schedule. We also make sure that all necessary parts are changed when they need to be changed, so you don't need to worry about anything, and you don't need to do this in-house. If you are interested in this type of service, let me know. There will be an email after the webinar. Okay, so when we are looking at FROG-6, most of you who are on this webinar, and the obvious kind of idea is that this is a product for oil and gas industry. And yes, it is predominantly used in oil and gas industry offshore. It is particularly suitable product for deep water operations because it's a high capacity unit. It can carry 6 people. So if you're doing interfield transfers in deep water or anything similar to that, it is quite a good option for you because you can transfer a fair number of people in a very short period of time. The lift itself takes about 5 minutes, so you can easily calculate how many people can you transfer in 30 minutes or an hour. It is also the preferred product for Navy and Coast Guard, together with our XT range products. I will touch on those in a moment. And it is also suitable for offshore civil engineering work and operations. So we could easily say that the use of FROG-6 is universal. So anyone who needs to transfer medium or high capacity people offshore can use this product without any issues. 10 golden rules. I'll just quickly run through this. They are available on our website. You can download them. We have a download material section with loads of useful studies and case studies and user manuals and best practices. Please do go visit our website and browse through that section. We have quite a good resource library there. You can download whatever you think you need for free, or you can just get in touch and sort of give us an idea of what you think you might need or what is the issue that you're trying to resolve, and we'll help you with that. 10 golden rules we developed together with operators and some of our partners. Essentially, they are very clear messages that you can disseminate to your crew and to anyone using the FROG, including the crane operator and the vessel master. And it takes you through the basic things that you have to keep in mind when you are lifting people in a FROG and when you are doing the transfer. The eternal question, procurement versus rental. So should you buy or should you rent? I think it depends a lot on what kind of operations you're having. How long is the project being commissioned for? Do you have any other projects in the pipeline? And then, of course, about your internal structure. How do you separate capital expenditure versus operating expenditure? And whether you prefer to have spread payments and some other things. We do provide same level of support regardless whether you choose procurement or rental as an option. With the rental option, the day rate would include everything. So you would have a fully serviced unit. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. We would make sure that the unit is maintained throughout the rental if we are talking about a long-term rental. And you wouldn't need to do anything yourself. Also, when the unit is being serviced, you would be given a replacement unit during that period, so you wouldn't have any downtime due to servicing of the rental unit. We currently have some oil operators in Africa using some international oil operators operating in West Africa using this option. So they are having long-term rental with full servicing in a day rate. And the one contract has been going on for 3 years now. We can also help you with risk and operational assessments. In most cases, and most of our clients tend to do this themselves, but every now and then we do have a situation where they are operating in a very particular circumstance or in a very particular location, and they come to us for advice and guidance on how they should make sure that the lifts that they're performing with the units are the safest possible, and they have taken everything in the account. So we can help you with that if you need any kind of support. We do provide it for all our clients throughout the lifespan of the unit. Also, if you are considering using the unit, you don't have it yet, but you are considering between different transfer options, or whether you should have a FROG as a contingency transfer option, and you are not sure whether it's the right option for you, do get in touch, and we'll guide you through, and we'll tell you what is the best option, even if it is not a FROG on some occasions. We offer, so to summarize, we offer post-sale support during the lifetime of the product. Most of the operational support that we offer, so answering specific questions about landing under a particular angle or during a particular weather conditions, we do that free of charge. We consider that as a support for our clients. If something constitutes a specific scenario that requires us to do some project work, or require us to do weeks and months of analysis or something like that, then obviously that would be treated differently. But in most cases, we are just happy to be able to support. It also helps us get a lot of feedback from the field and improve products moving forward. And also when we work on new types of carriers, it is quite crucial for us to have that feedback. Finally, we have local support. I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar that we do have a global network of approved service centers. When I say approved service center, what I essentially mean is they have been audited by Reflex Marine engineers, that their facilities are suitable to store and to service our products. Their technicians have been trained by our engineers, and they have been certified and given a certificate that they can service our units. The service can be done offshore and onshore. It's basically up to you and your operations. So whatever works best for you, we always try to comply and to accommodate the client. We also offer a customizable solution. If anything needs to be adapted or changed on the unit, we can take it as a project. We have done this for numerous clients when they needed the weight of the unit to be below certain number, or when they needed the dimensions of the unit to sort of fit into a certain mold. We can do this for you. And that would be it for today. I hope this was useful. I'm just quickly going to touch on the certification because we didn't mention that. So I'll quickly mention that before we go to questions, to your questions. So the FROG-6 is certified for Mexico. And this presentation was mainly targeting operators and their subcontractors in Mexico. So it does have Mexican certification. And this certification is almost automatically renewed every year. There isn't any specific process that we have to go to. So it's much simpler than in Brazil. In Brazil, we have a situation where we have around 60 units currently operating offshore Brazil. They are allowed to operate because they were purchased when the DPC certificate for FROG-6 was valid. At the moment, we are unable to sell any new units to Mexico, but we are hoping that once this pandemic is over, we will complete the recertification for FROG-6, and we will get back into the Brazilian market, or if it's not possible with FROG-6, then with some of our other carriers from FROG XT range. In Mexico, we don't have these issues, so FROG-6 is fully certified for Mexico. We do have plans to certify our other products from the XD range for both countries, both for Mexico and for Brazil. I don't think anything will happen quickly considering current situation with the pandemic, but it is in the pipeline, so we'll try and keep you posted and have regular updates either through our eSense or through another channel to keep everybody in the loop. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you very much, Sandra. I've just made the FROG-6 user manual available for download alongside the 10 golden rules on the right-hand side of the screen. Sorry, and yes, they should be available now. And we do have a couple of questions as well for you both before we end the webinar. So I'll just share my
questions in the chat box. Charlie?
Hi, Sandra, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can.
There was a bit of overlap there.
Yes, I said I'm not sure if we had any questions in the chat box.
Yes, we did have a couple. I'm just trying to share my screen with you now, where we have the questions written down that have come through. Let me know when you can see that.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so the first one was, what is the landing area of the FROG-6?
The landing area, or the required landing area for FROG-6 is 6.4 meters by 6.4 meters on the vessel, and 4.25 meters by 4.25 meters on the installation. But we recommend to add 1 more meter to this landing area of clearance around the unit, just to guarantee the entry and exit of passengers in a safe and fashion mode.
Great, thank you, Victor. And the second question was, how does the operational envelope compare to gangways? So I'm assuming that's heave compensated gangways or normal gangways.
I think I can answer that question too. First of all, I would say that you need less landing area in terms of operating a FROG-6. If you want to install a gangway on the back of your vessel, let us say that minimum you would need 6 by 6.5 by 6.5 meters. This is for a gangway with a 15 meter length, more or less a 15 meter length capacity. And the other thing is that I can set a very particular case, and that's the case of our units working in the Caspian Sea. These gangways, in many occasions, the operating envelope in terms of sea state is not very high. Especially, I would refer to gangways with a length of approximately 15 meters. So the operational envelope in terms of sea state for a gangway of this type will be about 2 meters significant wave height. You could be operating with a FROG-6 in a 4.5 significant wave height. If you perform a full risk assessment, and what we recommend always prior to perform the transfer or the real transfers with passengers, if you perform a dry run, and once the case has been assessed and it is established and considered by the staff involved in the operation after that risk assessment that the operation can be conducted, yes, it can be done. But we have feedback from operators, and especially in the west coast of Africa also, in which they have expressed their to be very happy with the performance of the units on the swell and in weather, especially in sea states of up to 4.5 meters.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then we had one more final question for you, which was, what is the luggage or storage tools option on the carrier?
We do offer luggage and tools storing option, but it is a principle that has been established in the industry for many years now that passengers and luggages should not be transferred together. In case that this is done, and in very particular cases when this is done, we should remark that the deck crew will be always responsible and will be in charge of loading the luggages and then loading the personnel. And after the personnel abandons the unit, then will be the deck crew, the one that will be in charge of recovering the luggage from the luggage nets. Yes, we offer the possibility of carrying luggages on the frogs, but it is not what we recommend.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. As I say, I've made the FROG-6 user manual available alongside the 10 golden rules in the chat. They're available for download. The recording of this webinar will also be sent out to you all within the next 24 hours. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@reflexmarine.com. And we look forward to hearing from you all soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.